Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, or if you're new here, welcome. It's a pleasure to meet you. This, for those of you who are new, is my genre maker series. What I do in this series is I go into games that made or remade a genre, shaping it or changing it in ways that resonate throughout the years, and today is honestly no exception, because today we're talking about a series that, well, is newer by the standards of this channel, but came at the right time to make a big impact, not only in gaming, but gaming culture as well. You all know and either love and hate the series. That's right, we're talking Halo today. Now this one's kind of been a long time coming to the channel, so if you have a minute, grab a snack and a drink as we go into a brief history, the launch of the game, some quick impressions as to why I thought it was important personally, and how it helped solidify Microsoft as a series contender in the video game market. So strap in for Hell Jump, Spartans, this one's gonna be fun. Now, many of you know the history of Bungie and Halo itself, but some of you don't, so let's take a moment and go into this anyway. Bungie is an American company through and through, based in Bellevue, Washington, and was established in 1991 by Alex Sirpen, which I'm sure I mispronounced. The company was focused primarily on computer gaming at the time, more specifically Macintosh. Yes, Apple has video games, and had a history been different, might have been a more dominant force in the market going than they are today. Their first game was Minotaur: The Labyrinth of Crete. This wasn't so much developed as published by, and was the creation of Jason Jones, who would get pulled in shortly after into Bungie as a whole. They would go on to make other games as well, most notable being Marathon and Myth. They would even produce Oni under Bungie West. It was around this time that they started working on a new title, originally called Armor. Named as such, so it wouldn't accidentally ship with that name. This was pretty common in the industry. Now this would eventually morph into something more amusing, because I guess Armor was popular, into a new name, Monkey Nuts. No, I'm not kidding. Just imagine that Xbox coming to gamers everywhere to reveal an all their new hot exclusive, Monkey Nuts. I think I actually would have paid money to see this. Now this name, to my slight disappointment, did not last long, getting changed to Blam. Apparently some of the devs didn't want their families knowing they were working on a game called Monkey Nuts. Prudes. This game started out as more of a standard isometric view. It used a third-person view for more individual control of the units. You could actually take control of individual units and move them around. Now, as they started exploring this particular idea, they realized how fun it was to control the Marines and the Warthog that they had made for the game. Yep. You guessed it, Halo was an RTS game in the start. Oddly enough, the deeper they got into the development, the more things kind of morphed and changed. And by late 1998, early 1999, almost 2 years after the start of development of Blam, RIP Monkey Nuts, I'm assuming it was still called Blam. Let's just go with that. We'll call it Blam for now. They had fleshed out more weapons and even gotten a 4v4 deathmatch going on. They actually just stopped development around 4 PM most days to sit down and play the game for a few hours a day, in the deathmatch form. So it seems like their focus very quickly moved away from RTS and into more of a deathmatch style game. And this continued till around 1999, when Steve Jobs actually showed off some of the gameplay of the game that the team had been working on at an expo, which was now titled Halo. And it would actually announce that it would be launched on the Mac OS and Windows. Hopes were high at the company and in the industry for the game. However, behind the scenes, Bungie was actually having a lot of trouble. You see, Myth 2 had some major issues with the installer, and the company was forced to recall copies of the games to fix this. Now, this put them in a bit of a financial bind, and word got around to Ed Fries, who was tasked with building up a portfolio of games for Microsoft's first entry into the market of consoles. And they began talks with Bungie. In the end, Microsoft would actually buy Bungie for $30 million, solidifying their killer app for their new console. Now, Halo came in at just the right time in the industry. First-person shooters had been hitting the market already, but many of them felt much rougher to control than their PC counterparts, with many of them using a simple analog stick or a D-pad for controls, making for slow, ponderous gameplay. Halo had actually streamlined the dual analog style input and had a solid weapon balance on top of an action-packed campaign that sucked in early adopters of the Xbox, and probably made more than a few PlayStation fans jealous that they didn't have it on their particular console. Before long, the industry was abuzz calling games Halo killers because everyone was struggling to find a way to stop or catch onto the momentum that the game had created. PlayStation would come out with games like Resistance as a way of trying to have their own killer app in the vein of Halo, while excellent in its own right, and a series I'd like to see revisited, it never quite hit the same as Halo. Honestly, very few things have, including Destiny, made by the Bungie developers themselves. It's simply one of those series that shook up what we saw on the market and resonated deeply with gaming culture and pop culture in a way only certain titles do when they hit at certain times. However, what do you guys think of this one? Are any of you fans of the franchise, and if so, which one's your favorite? Do you have a favorite Halo killer game, and if so, which one is it? Is there another series you'd like better than this one that you think was more influential? Let me know in the comments, and while you're there, if you don't mind, please leave this video a like, and if you see more of my stuff you like, consider following the channel. That actually helps me out a ton. Till we meet again though, have a great rest of your day, and happy gaming.